to another Cruise with Big Smooth. Before I even get into anything today, just started out the commute in a very frustrating manner. About 2.5 miles from my driveway, there's a set of train tracks where I live. They're not used for much of anything except storage. In the fall and winter months, a lot of grain cars are parked on these tracks for farmers to load up or to be put in storage while they're not needed. And then they are brought out of there when they are needed. It's just a convenient place for various railways to store stuff. Well, today was the day they decided to bring them out. Now, when I get close to my job, I've got to contend with trains anyway. So today, that one caught me in that the route that I take to work, as crazy as this is going to sound, it crosses that same rail line a grand total of 4 times on various roads. No, wait, 5 times. 5 times. So I know that they're going to be pulling cars in and out of there. I know that they've got to go the direction I'm headed, so I'm having to take a detour to work. And I almost had to take another detour because there's it's called a slab bridge. Just a slab of concrete in the river with drains through it. And there was, whenever water gets up, they close the road down. Well, the water had receded quite a bit. There's still just a touch of water on the bridge, about 3 inches or so. It wasn't moving real fast, so I was able to get around it. But anyway, so that was the start of my commute today, which did not do anything for my current mood, because now I'm running late, and I don't like running late. And I still have to stop for gas at some point while I'm on the way to work. Well, anyway, thanks for tuning in with another Cruise with Smooth. So, there's an idea that I've had about a podcast. This is another one that's been on the list for a while, just sitting there. And the show title is Know When to Walk Away. So, a while back I did the show Know When to Dig Your Heels In, stories from my life in the automotive dealer world. Well, this one, Know When to Walk Away, I got 2 stories to tell. One of them is one of them's from a coworker, another one different coworker, different employment circumstance. So this particular person and I, we met at this job approximately 3 to 4 months after I had been there, if not a little longer. Just, they were out on leave from work. So I didn't meet them right off as a coworker. Well, anyway, they came in, and there was something going on with my team at work. No sense going through all the details. But work 6 out up to 5 hours solid with no ability to go to the restroom. And I had to go to the restroom, and it was getting pretty urgent. Well, I had managed to speak with a guy that knew my job that was going to be freed up in about 10 minutes about going to the restroom. This is factory work for you guys. So anyway, I went to the bathroom and I came right back. I was gone maybe 4 minutes, including walking time, which anybody that works in a decent sized factory will know that that can be a pretty quick trip to the restroom. So anyway, I get back, things settle down, we go on our lunch break. One person said, like, man, you know, you should have waited and da-da-da. I'm like, well, it was that or have an accident. So, well, this other coworker just completely jumped my case over it, and I get their point entirely. I got it. But they weren't hearing me that I'm pretty close to having an accident. It's dead of summer. The company was pushing hydration. You had to stay hydrated, otherwise you'd fall over. I've seen it happen several times. So, you know, you're processing a lot of water, you gotta go. Well, we stood there and less than calmly spoke back and forth about all this. And she just wouldn't shut up about it. And I got to the point where there was something percolating in the back of my mind that was just so wrong and vile to say that I definitely could have been taken to the HR department and I could have been terminated. So instead, I spun on my heels, walked right outside for a smoke break. Just like, hey, you know, you can have your opinion, I'm going to have mine. I'm not letting you get under my skin no more. Was essentially what it all boiled down to. And the reason why I chose to walk away was not only because I knew that I was getting ready to fly off the handles at this person, but neither one of us was getting anywhere, because I knew that I was fixing to have an accident on myself if I didn't go, and she knew that I shouldn't have done that, and neither one of us were going to budge, or, well, you know, you do have a point. So, just walked away, and we didn't say anything for the rest of that week to each other, which was absolutely fine with me. This is like years later, my least favorite person at work. Another story, knowing when to walk away, if you will rewind with me, 7-8 years, I think we'll go back. I was engaged in 2011 to someone, not my wife. And the plan was for the two of us to get married after she got out of college. She was due to graduate in 2012. So she was going to come home, take a couple weeks to enjoy not being a college student, because she had had a very trying last semester of college. She had lost her father right before Christmas break, and going back to school with all that on her mind was pretty tough. So anyway, what's this idiot doing? Okay. So anyway, she graduated college, comes home. She had taken about a week or two off. This following week, she was going to start looking for a job. Well, that Saturday night, I'm laying in my bed. She is visiting with family, and I get a phone call. And I'm like nearly asleep. So I just let it ring. Well, it rings out, goes to voicemail. 20 seconds later, I get another one. I'm like, something's up. So I answer the phone, and it was her mother. And she tells me that she had been in a pretty bad car accident and was at such and such a hospital a couple towns over while visiting family. I got something in my beard or goatee, whatever you want to call it at this length. It's irritating. Alright, anyway, so at the time I was still living with my parents. It was just, I could afford to live where I wanted within reason budget-wise, but it was just, it made more financial sense for me to live there. So I jump up and I told my parents, who were in bed not asleep yet, that she was in an accident and I'm heading to this town to go see her in the hospital. Well, my dad comes with me. We start going down the road. Get a phone call from her mother that they are transporting her right then to the #1 trauma center in the state. Fantastic. Turn around, because it's the opposite direction. Go get gas. Start trucking. Get to that hospital. I actually, due to where I was in relation to where she was and the ambulance ride and everything else, I beat her there by a little bit. Get up there, and she was stable, coherent, but she had really destroyed her ankle in this accident. I want to say the total number of surgeries to repair everything to the point that they did, which she did not have. She had full range of walking motion, but she did not have full range of motion, so she couldn't flex it to the extremes that the majority of people could, but she could move it enough to walk. She had very little cartilage left in her ankle. She had torn the skin the majority of the way around the ankle because it shattered it. And so after this, there was about a month and a half in an external fixator. Then there was several months in a cast and physical therapy, on and on and on down that list goes. Well, there had been issues, small ones, in our relationship prior to this. Not going to go into there and throw shade at her, but I think the easiest way to call it would be disagreeing with time management and ways of succeeding in life. Be the easiest short answer to the issues that we had in our relationship. Well, as she got better, there were things that she refused to do that she had said she would do. She had never looked for a job, and I know that having a mobility issue would limit what you could do, but it doesn't preclude you from work. So her and I had some disagreements about that. Her and I had some disagreements about how she was spending her time at home when she wasn't doing anything. Good golly, traffic is terrible, and I'm not even there yet. So we had began planning our wedding, and things weren't getting any better in our relationship. She had kind of put her good foot down and wasn't gonna change her mind on the way that she was conducting herself. And it got down to the wire on this, and I'm like, this isn't going to work. Like, I kept expecting a change or a breakthrough for her where she would, I have been not doing these things or doing these things that aren't great. And I kept waiting for something that never came. Well, long and short, when change wasn't happening, I decided I told her, until things improve in our relationship, I don't want you to walk down the aisle. And I said, I'm not canceling the wedding, I'm postponing it. Well, she left. And that was kind of that. But I know that the way that things had been up to that point, I wouldn't have been happy in a married relationship with her. So I guess that's enough about today, but basically, if you don't think you can put up with it, or you don't think you can be civilized, get out. And this is the last little bit of relationship advice I've got. If they are not husband or wife material, just leave. Don't put up with them. Don't apologize. Don't be rude about it, but don't apologize for setting a standard for yourself. Just, if they're not what you want out of a husband or a wife, if that's your end goal in a relationship, don't hang out if you realize that they're not that. So that's, I think, my biggest relationship advice to anybody. Well, I guess I've gone on long enough. I've said all I got to say about this one, so hope everybody has a good one. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, thumbs up. Also, I do, my buddy Danny of I'm No Expert is going to be putting up a podcast. He'll be giving me a link. I think he said it's going to go up on Stitcher and Spotify, I think is where he said. He'll be sending me a link to it. The show I'm No Expert, he and I sat down for quite a few hours earlier this week and did probably 4 or 5 podcasts worth of material. So I hope everyone has a safe afternoon, safe day. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.